Is the breakfast very important, or is it okay to skip? How's it going? Joshua B. Fit here. Welcome to my channel. I just wanted to talk to a couple of the beginners out there on a bit of nutrition. So basically, all I want to talk about are 3 simple meals for a breakfast, and I'm also going to explain a bit about the breakfast and why it's important. Is the breakfast very important, or is it okay to skip? I find it's a very subjective answer. So I'm going to just first start off with, there have been studies done, of course, where people skip breakfast and people eat breakfast in the morning. Some of the studies that I've read over, they actually show that the people who skip and the people who do consume breakfast in the morning are usually still in a calorie deficit throughout the day. So I wouldn't say that there's a big win or a big loss if you do eat breakfast or if you don't eat breakfast. There are obviously other things that will affect you throughout the day. Some of the things that affect you is that people tend to binge towards the end of the day if they don't have breakfast, and this usually happens when you're not consuming enough calories throughout the day. Towards the end of the day, you might get home from work or after a workout, and you might just want to consume and devour everything in sight and whatever you see, and this can tend to lead to maybe an increase in calories and things like that. Now, I'm not saying the same thing can't happen even when you are eating breakfast. Usually some people, they don't give themselves enough for a meal, so they might be eating their breakfast, lunch, dinner, and their snack, but they might not be consuming enough fats or enough carbohydrates or enough protein, and also maybe not even consuming enough calories. So this could obviously cause too much of a deficit, and this could send those same signals to the brain. Say if you look from a point where you are trying to build muscle protein synthesis or promote it, or promote hypertrophy within the body, and I've actually read studies on saying 4 to 5 meals a day, you're going to have 20 grams of protein per meal. I would say that I wouldn't agree with it 100%. I do find it as a really great guideline, especially for beginners. I have found beginners actually make really good gains and lose weight just by basically eating a little bit less than that for protein and eating more fats and carbs and just changing their ratios a bit. So you don't have to stick with an extreme ratio like 20 grams per meal of protein, but it depends on your body as well. If that's your calorie intake along with your macronutrient intake, go for it. So I'm going to share with you 3 types of dishes that I usually will consume throughout the week, and I find that they're actually quite easy to get and they're quite easy to make. You'll find that they're also like a certain amount of fats and carbs and protein, so the macronutrients are there, and then there's obviously a certain amount of calories, usually probably ranging between 350 to hopefully 700 calories. I obviously am not going to show you all the measurements of the calories and macros in this because the amount of ingredients that I use will differ from the amounts of ingredients you use, and I'm also trying to promote for beginners not to always measure everything on the scale. Let your eyes be your stomach in this sense. So if you're not feeling hungry today, don't put a lot of stuff in. If you're feeling like you're woken up starving, throw as much as you think you'll need in, and be creative. Don't limit yourself to any foods that you want to add into these meals. So the 3 meals I'm going to be talking to you about is going to be 1, the bodybuilder's choice. Now, a lot of bodybuilders probably have seen this meal in their diets, and it usually starts with a lot of people also wanting to lose weight and build muscle. So this is kind of ideal if you wanted to do those 2 things. You're going to find a large amount of calories, a good source of amount of protein, and a really good amount of fats and carbs within this dish. It's also going to be really high in fiber, so it's going to be really good for your gut, and it's going to help kickstart your metabolism in the morning. The second meal that I'm going to show you is more of a on-the-go meal. So if you're kind of in a rush, maybe you're someone who needs to get to work really quick and early in the morning, then this is something that you can kind of look for. So the meal is basically going to be like a hot rice dish, but like more of a rice soup. And then follow it on with like your fats, and your protein will be involved. So you might want to have like boiled eggs or a banana or a muffin involved. And you can also add in some nuts that you can find pretty much at any convenience store. So that's pretty much the ingredients here are going to be at any convenience store that's near you, and you'll be able to kind of look, you will kind of understand what you should be looking for. And it doesn't have to be exactly what I've shown you in this video, but if you can kind of stick towards those guidelines, it will most likely work for you. The last meal today is basically going to be more of a Thai inspired dish. It's going to be more of a local one. I'm sure every Thai person probably has seen or heard of it. It's an omelette on rice. Now, the nice thing about the omelette on rice is that you can kind of add to it any vegetables you want within the egg, within the omelette. So if you want to chop up carrots, onion, tomatoes, spring onions, blah, 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 you can put in a whole bunch of different stuff. You can boost up the vitamin intake. You can boost up the minerals you're going to get from all your vegetables, and also increase in a bit of fiber. That's a really awesome thing. Along with your protein intake. So obviously, the more eggs you add into your omelet, the more protein you can up on. And you don't have to use whole eggs. You could also use like a liquid egg whites to create this omelet. I usually go for a one whole egg to 2 or 3 egg whites. So for me, some mornings I would like to do a 3 egg whites to 1 whole egg. So in that, I would be putting in like 4 eggs and one whole egg and 3 egg whites. And then if I put in 2 whole eggs, I'll be putting in 6 egg whites. So your protein intake can be quite high, which is really nice. You're obviously getting a nice carb intake as well from the rice, and nice fiber and some fats from the oils. So guys, those are the 3 meals you can really use to boost up your breakfast. I want you to maybe comment on other recipes or ideas that you have to boost up your nutrition in the morning for breakfast. And if you have any questions, please comment below and DM me. I'd love to hear what your hacks or wins are in the morning when it comes to your breakfast. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If this helped you with some tips for breakfast, please like and subscribe. See you next time.